Good morning and welcome to Good News for today, May the 12th, 2025. My name is Tim,
My name is Nikki.
and we are looking at the Gospel of Luke, chapter 6, verses 1 to 11 is what is in the lectionary for today, but I'm going to focus on verses 6 through 11. So Nikki's going to read that now. This is Luke chapter 6, verses
6 to 11.
6 to 11.
On another Sabbath day, when he went into a synagogue to teach, there was a man there whose right hand was wasted away. The scribes and the Pharisees were watching Jesus closely to see whether he would heal on the Sabbath day, which would of course give them grounds for an accusation. But he knew exactly what was going on in their minds, and said to the man with the wasted hand, "Stand up and come out in front." And he got up and stood there. And then Jesus said to them, "I am going to ask you a question. Does the law command us to do good on Sabbath days or do harm, to save or to destroy it?" He looked round, meeting all their eyes, and said to the man, "Now stretch out your hand." He did so, and his hand was restored, as sound as the other one. But they were filled with insane fury and kept discussing with each other what they could do to Jesus. This is the word of the Lord.
Yes, thanks be to God. I'm not going to say very much about this passage. It has a lot on the surface of it, at any rate, that speaks for itself. But it raises these questions that just it's almost unbelievable how strict the scribes and Pharisees were in interpreting the law. And I guess we can maybe see parallels in today's world where, and particularly I think in other cultures that are very strict, but I'm sure we wouldn't have to reach very far to find situations in our own culture where this kind of strict adherence comes about. But anyway, they were waiting to see, watching very closely to see whether he would heal on the Sabbath day, which of course was against their interpretation of the law, the very strict interpretation. But he knew what was going on, and he said to the man with the shriveled hand, "Stand up and come out here in front." So the man comes out, and then he asks the scribes and the Pharisees, and this is typical of Jesus, that he finds a way to sort of point out the flaws in their logic. So he says, "I'm going to ask you a question. Does the law command us to do good on Sabbath days or to do harm, to save life or destroy it?" It's the kind of question that any reasonable person would answer, no, it's not to do harm, and it is to do good. And it's not to destroy life, but to save life. And of course, what Jesus was planning to do was precisely that. He was planning to restore this man's hand. So he looks around and he sees meets their eyes, and then he says to the man, "Now stretch out your hand." And when he did, his hand was restored as sound as the other one. Now, there is the crux of this whole story and the miracle that Jesus performed, which is, to be honest with you, I find miracles to be so foreign to the way we experience life in our age that I find myself almost incredulous about the story. But on the other hand, this is Jesus, the Christ, the creator of the universe, who in human form knows what he's about to do and tells this man to stretch out his hand, and his hand is restored. I have no reason to doubt that, but I also have no reason, well, I shouldn't say I have no reason, but it's very difficult to think that it might happen today. And certainly if it was me saying to the man, stretch out his hand, I'm not I'm not in the same league as Christ, obviously. But they were filled with insane fury and kept discussing with each other what they could do to Jesus. So that's just so, the contrast there is so blatant, um, that it just beggars belief. Jesus performs a miracle in front of them, and they are filled with fury and looking for ways to deal with this guy who doesn't know that he's not supposed to heal on the Sabbath. I think Nikki's going to close with a prayer here.
I remember a lady from the church saying about doing things on the Sabbath. She said, "The better the day, the better the deed." So I thought that was something to remember. Uh, I'm going to pray a prayer from Saint Teresa. May today be peace within you. May you trust God that you are exactly where you are meant to be. May you not forget the infinite possibilities that are born of faith. May you use those gifts that you have received and pass on the love that has been given to you. May you be content knowing that you are a child of God, but this let this presence settle in you, in your bones, and allow you sound and allow your soul the freedom to sing, dance, and love. It is there for each and every one of you. Amen. I
Amen.
pray that you would have a wonderful week and that we would continue to have spring. Wouldn't that be good?
Thanks for attending to us this morning, and have a great day. Bye now.